stream should be up. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Mind Clash Podcast, episode 52. Eve, Valkyrie, what's the expansion called?
Yep, it's definitely that. It's all about Valkyrie and the war zone. It is I, Kale Decadence.
This is I, Meredud.
I guess I'll go next. I'm Rot, Valkyrie streamer, resident lore nerd.
Yep, and I am Super Cav. I'm a Valkyrie pilot. Fly mainly fighters in the game.
I should go next. I am Aneska. I am a support pilot in the game.
Outstanding. So, as you guys can tell, we have some guests here that are relatively familiar, if not super duper familiar, with Eve Valkyrie, which neither Merdud or myself are. Merdud has had 2 more experiences playing Eve Valkyrie than I have, which would give me a running total of 0. But I have seen video.
Well, that's worth at least 0.5.
At least. But yeah, so real quick before we get right into it, we're going to start talking about some Eve news because there is Eve news and some of it is relevant to the Valkyrie world. And that would be because on September 12th, there will be an update in Eve called the Agency Warzone Extraction, which is to celebrate the upcoming Valkyrie update, which I want to say is September 26th.
23rd, 26th.
Somewhere in that
26.
region. Yeah, 26. So September 26th, the update for Valkyrie is going to go live, which is the Warzone update, which will enable anybody who does not have a VR headset to begin playing Valkyrie. We don't know what the specs are, but I'm assuming they're going to be relatively close, minus the required HDMI input and required excess USBs. But it might be a little less. Who knows?
Yeah, actually, on that note, this is an important point. Since it's non-VR, I think like the FPS requirements are substantially lower. So you could probably run it with a toaster by today's standards, which is good. So
that would be good.
I run all of my accessory modules off of potatoes.
Yeah. So essentially, this update in September 12th is going to be pitting Capsuleers against Drifter forces with the objective of accessing a Drifter-controlled area and extracting valuable cargo from within the domain. So if you've read up about the Valkyrie update that's happening at the end of September, that is also going to have a new Drifter scenario, Drifter map. Not sure what you would call it.
Yeah, so it's based on a Drifter hive, which I know that they're available out there in wormhole space somewhere. I mostly stick to like relatively safe pockets of high sec, but to people that have gone out there in wormholes, you know what they look like, and you're basically fighting inside one, which I'm really excited for. There's even like environmental hazards, which haven't been in any maps up until then. So it'll be really cool to see how that ties into what's already in the game at this point.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. So also they're going to have some NPE improvements to include that new Empire selection that we've been hearing about, as well as new audio samples in the Inception tutorial, I guess you would call it, and text and visual updates.
Just a point on the Drifter forces. There's a whole new set of Drifter forces coming for that event, from frigate all the way up to battleship. Via Hobo leaks, they were leaked, as well as a new NPC called the Quartermaster, who you'll be turning in the relics, which are some kind of tech garbage you're finding in these Drifter sites that you'll have to turn into the Quartermaster.
Yeah, that's to link up with Valkyrie Warzone.
Yeah, I think somebody in the Dust 514 chat called them Drifter MacGuffins. But on that note, Quartermaster, for those that don't know, that's somebody that he's a main character, kind of a main character in Eve, and he's been hanging around a while. He's the guy that outfits your ships and everything, so it'll be interesting to see what he's trying to do with all of these ancient artifacts that he's digging up.
Yeah, he's been kind of a mysterious character in Valkyrie so far, so it's going to be pretty cool to learn some new stuff about him, I guess, in the coming month or two.
We'll see about that. Finally, last few things of that update is going to be debris visual renovation and improved firing effects. Now, I did see some pictures of these, and other than a little bit brighter and a little, I don't know, lens flarish, I didn't really notice much of a difference, but that's just a picture, and pictures don't speak to videos. And then there's a really cool thing, a market ticker at the bottom of the market window. So right at the bottom of the market window screen, you're going to have a little ticker scrolling that shows some highs and lows and what to buy, what to sell. That will be neato. And then on that same day, all the moon mining skills that you will need once moon mining becomes and refineries become a thing will be seeded to the market, so you can start training up on that.
Yeah, definitely get some time to get those skill points assigned. There's like 5 skills assigned with the refineries and reactions. 4 if you're not going to go into drug production, but similar to the industrial skills that we currently have, so like range of control, the number of reactions you can run. The moon mining skills itself, there will be a full set of specialization crystals and stuff that will probably be added at some point, but they haven't released details on those yet, as they haven't finalized the names on the types of moon minerals that you'll be able to extract from the rock fields from the new refineries.
I'm certainly looking forward to not having to worry about getting my POS blown up every time I want to run a crash lab. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, you'll still need to be in low or nullsec to complete those reactions and stuff, but yeah, it'll definitely be a lot more safer. And it'll have the same asset safety mechanics and the same loss mechanics similar to engineering complexes, where things in build will be destroyed and paused when the structure is reinforced. So sweet kill mails, loot drops, but
Cool. So, right after that, in the next month will be the Lifeblood expansion in October on the 24th. They're going to have what it's going to be. I want to say it's going to be a major expansion. They've got a trailer video for it. I'll link that trailer video. So if there's a trailer video, it must be pretty important. But this is when we're going to add the refineries, which will be the Athenor and the Tatara. Now, Meredith, you say this is a small and a medium?
yeah, we got the Tatara on screen here live from CC, and the Athenor is the smaller one. They're only having the 2 sizes, unlike engineering complexes and citadels. But the medium-sized one will be able to use the drill. I'm not sure about the smaller one. I'm assuming. But there's very limited defenses on these. These are not as powerful as citadels. Similar to engineering complexes, they'll be weaker and easier to assault. But obviously, if you upgrade bigger and go with Tech 2 service modules, you'll get the highest and most benefit out of these.
So if you think that if these are small and medium, there's going to be eventually a large and extra large?
I doubt an extra large. I mean, I guess the possibility is available for a large, but maybe there might be new gameplay opportunities there somehow. Like, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I mean, in my perfect world, they would move PI from a out-of-game browser UI minigame to a something you could actually interact with within space, like everything else in the game. I think unassailable wealth is garbage. So it'd be nice.
Don't you change my income generation.
Well, I mean, I guess you have to move it from place to place, but one of my favorite things is getting fixed about how POSs are moving from moon mining within the POS, and you could just jump your jump freighter in, scoop the loot, refuel, jump out. Is that these engineering complexes the refinery structures will have the miners in space, so you'll actually have something to roam and go hunt for, and you'll be able to catch guys mining in the belts, and you have some good fights. I mean, I had a great fight this week over a Rorqual. We blopsed in, we had a good engagement. The Rorqual didn't immediately Sino. We dropped Dreads. Then he dropped the Sino. He used his invulnerability. Then they brought in capitals. We lost capitals. We extracted. But we had a great little fight, and it was kind of like over 20 minutes. Quick activity, and then, back to what we were doing.
Yep. So, with the moon mining, because the moon mining will be started at that point, which you should have your skills all set up for that if you plan on doing any moon mining. We will also have the mining ledger, and the corp ledger is coming soon, TM. Also, we will have the improved reaction user interface, which we've seen pictures of. It's going to be basically just like you're making something out of BPO. It's going to be the same thing, but the blueprint for the moon mineral, run it through, click run, it does its thing. And also those BPOs for the Tatara and the Athenor will be seeded into the market, which, boy oh boy, that's going to be fun trying to grab the first ones of those.
For sure. And I mean, if you are not prepared, CCP has already announced that when the switchover day occurs, that moon mining lasers on existing POSs will just shut down. That's the end of the road. Reactions are going to shut down. You're going to have to switch over to the new structures. As well as on that day, I can't reiterate this enough, all of the moons are going to shuffle. So what you were previously holding as an R64, it could be now an R8. It's not going to be the same as it was. You're going to have to take moon probes out. You're going to have to moon scan down your constellations. And there are thousands upon thousands of moons out there if you've never personally gone out there and explored your constellations. I think Delve has like 9,000 moons. So you have to first know how to moon scan, which is its own little mechanic, and then scan down your moons, and then set up new refineries, and then set up the extraction dates, and then get your mining fleets ready.
So it's going to be a truffle shuffle.
But until then, there are going to be no new moon minerals coming into the market. So there's a lot of people already stockpiling their moon minerals. So if you're seeing prices on R64 Moongoo and R32 Moongoo go up, I know there's been announced withholding of stockpiles by certain large groups in order to affect the price. So
yeah, for sure. Is one thing I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have some sort of reaction running, it will continue to run but you can't start any new ones, right?
I think the ones that are in production, like if you have an alchemy going, it'll just peter out, and then you won't be able to turn a new one on.
Right. Okay, so it would probably be a good idea just to not have one running on that night before.
Well, I mean, you can get your last couple set in if you really need to. I mean, business as usual.
Yeah, business as usual. Anyway, so along with that, they're going to have something called the Resource Wars, which I'm thinking is something to do with like the mining, the NPC mining fleets are going to come out, but now we're going to have like agents, I believe, where we can get missions to help assist mining with those mining fleets or help defend those mining fleets. I'm kind of struggling with the details on that one, but what I wrote down was capsules are being contracted to assist in resource gathering in high-sec for mining and combat missions, and maybe a world event, maybe standing events for factions.
So there's two crumbs here that I think are worth noting for this kind of mechanic. The first one is that CCP Affinity is going to be at eVegas. She is on, I forget which team, but it's the team involved with all of the MPE and with the standings and with PvE kind of content. She's really involved in that kind of mechanics development, so there will definitely be mechanics around standings and how players interact with standings at eVegas. Now, moving into the Resource Wars, they just revamped the standings menu. If you haven't gone in and checked your standings with agents or with factions, there's now a nice slider bar that shows like, you're really well liked by these people. You can have level 1, 2, and 3 missions available. If you're really hated by this group, you will be attacked by them at this level, and you won't be able to dock in their stations. If they incorporate new functionality into that new improved standing system, which why would you polish up a system like that if you weren't going to implement it into a new mechanic? Maybe there's going to be cool stuff involving certain corporations who are looking for ore at certain times, maybe to support their new development of new ships or new modules.
Yep. Graybeard in chat said that this resource war thing might be only in high sec. I don't know about that, but I do know that the pirate fobs, which those will be in high sec only, those are Garista and Blood Raider forward operating bases that need to be destroyed by Capsuleers. I don't know if that's going to be somewhat similar to the shipyards or what exactly those are going to be, but apparently we got to take those things out in high sec because we don't want those nasty pirates getting into our sovereign systems.
Yeah, I think this is the micro-sized versions of the Garistas and Blood Raider shipyards using the new AI in a style of dead-style complexes that we will be able to interact with within HiSec. Maybe towards kind of, how they said that they want to improve the amount and the type of PvE that's available in HiSec without completely reformatting and rejigging all of the existing content which already exists.
Well, I think they could do some rejigging and it'd be good. But yes, they did say we're going to do some things in HiSec for the alpha players, and they are doing that, as we are currently doing the Alpha Strike scenario, Alpha Strike little situation through the agency right now. They're also going to be updating alpha ships on that October update. So they're definitely working towards high sec. They're definitely trying to make it more interesting and more entertaining for you guys.
Yeah, and that's a lot of CCP's player base. So I'm glad that they're working on improving the amount of content that's available for those players, as that's the garden that a lot of great EVE players grow into.
Yep. Oh, and also the Marshall Concord battleship will be introduced. Well, not introduced, but handed out on that day. So if you went to both FanFest and EVE Vegas, you will get that Concord battleship.
Now that ship looks real good.
It does.
And it's kind of a blop ship variant, right?
Yes.
I think it has Blop's capabilities, but I don't know if it gets the jump portal generation. Don't hold me to this. I'm pretty sure I remember.
I will not. And then, so after that, look into the future with the winter update, whenever that may or may not be. But they're going to have the Garista shipyards, much as we have the Blood Raider shipyards, and you will be able to get the Loggerhead Force Auxiliary, the Komodo Super Capital, and the Cayman Carrier. So those three are the three capital ships you could get from as a BPC drop from the Garista shipyards.
Yeah, and those ships are really cool.
They do look pretty neato.
Yeah, if I can jump in with that.
Sure.
I love Garista ships. I always loved kind of like the lore behind them. And it's really interesting to see, especially after Valkyrie, the Garista modules are kind of, I mean, they were always drones and missiles before, but especially with their capitals, they're really embracing that kind of fighter pilot kind of culture that the Valkyrie brought in. And I feel like they're going to incorporate that a lot more, hopefully, into what they do lore-wise in bringing in these new ships and tie that in with Valkyrie a bit. And I feel like they're going to be doing these Valkyrie missions already. So I'm excited for that. I'm still holding out for a unique super carrier, but that's down the line, I imagine. For now, these will be more than enough to get that bit of fan service for Garista pilots.
Oh, they're going to have unique skills and unique abilities, that's for sure. A Titan with 2 fighters, a Dread with fighters.
Yep, we've heard about that.
I mean, we can look forward to the Angels. They're going to have all new models, and we were talking about those models a couple weeks ago, but they look really cool.
Oh, yeah, those did look pretty sick. And last but not least, as far as CCP style news goes, the new PlayStation VR game called Spark, which is like a esports, you're throwing discs at each other that blow up. I don't know. That released over the last week, and I completely did not know because nobody's advertised it, nobody's talking about it. As a matter of fact, I've been into GameStop twice in the past week for various reasons, and they did not have any Spark stuff out. I even asked one of the employees yesterday if they had any shipments of this new Spark game, and they had no idea what I was talking about. And I happened to also be at Best Buy, and they also had no idea what I was talking about. So Spark is released, no one knows.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with that is that VR is already a very narrow community. So it was hard enough getting enough people on Valkyrie, at least for the Warzones update. More on that later. But in releasing it just for PlayStation 4, I think they've had a hard time finding a niche to sell it to. Hopefully, it will continue to improve as all of their games have in the past.
Yeah.
So I anticipate that will go somewhere.
Just somewhere in the back of my mind, I felt like GameStop or Best Buy should at least have a copy, let alone...
Yeah, or, know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they were clueless. They're like looking at me like I was just had a unicorn stuck in my head.
Yeah, I think it's PS4 exclusive, and they may not be doing a physical copy of it. Don't quote me on that. Even though
It's
I'm
not
live.
just a PS4 exclusive. It will be coming out on the Oculus Rift and the Vive later on, and they will have more news about that later on this year.
Yeah, but for now it's PS4.
Oh yeah, for just now it's PS4 only, but it will be coming out on the other headsets later on, and they will have information about that later this year.
Yeah, but I get the feeling that they don't have any physical copies, so you'll probably only be able to get it from the PS4 store thing.
I mean, shoot, with Valkyrie, there was you know, those big cardboard stand-up things at GameStop, and they had nice little things set up letting people know what was up. So I guess if you don't know about it, you don't know about it.
Yep, you got to be in the know.
In the know. All right, moving along. Merdad, do we have any battle reports or player news?
Oh, there's definitely lots of fights going on. Lots of big fights down in the south, in the southeast. At that FCON test, CO2 clusterfuck. Were you on some of those fleets there, Kale?
Yes, I went on many fleets throughout the weekend, to include a GigX fleet, as well as a few other fleets. It's just constantly, all day long, any time of the day. I've been known to get up early in the morning. I've been known to stay up real late or get on in the middle of the day, and there's always a fleet running now because it's just crazy.
Does it feel like anyone's winning right now? Like, is there any group losing a lot of structures or solved?
I don't know what the end state is or what the results need to be. All I know is that, you know, we see Test, Brave, FCON, these dudes come into our space, and we chase them out. We either chase them out or we kill them on the spot. They're dropping in Retarus all over the place in our space, and we just blap them off the face of the earth and move along. So it seems like we're holding ground in CO2.
Sweet. And then Shadow Cartel is joining the war in the south. Do you know much about this?
I do not. I do not know anything about that as much as I do not know anything about Snuff joining the Imperium.
I mean, the piece of news here is that it's not just Reddit fluff. Apparently, they are joining the Imperium, probably to take advantage of the advantages that Imperium has, which is cheap capitals, cheap supers, lots of miners to do your R64 mining for you.
Mine away.
This was a strong complaint of the low-sec community, both these two groups, was that their R64 empires were going to be more difficult to manage with the refineries implementation.
No, it'd be so hilarious if all those good-ass moons in Delve just went away and they turned into shit moons.
I mean, if you believe Mutani or Aerith, the moon income for the Imperium is only about 20% of their income because they have so many radders and miners. And with the corporate mining ledger, you'll be able to effectively tax your miners in a better way.
True.
More than just refinery taxes, which you can avoid with personal or corp refineries. Engineering complexes, sorry.
True.
But yeah, there's lots of good fights. I've seen lots of good stuff on Reddit, and a couple Titans dying. Not much in my neighborhood. We've had a couple decent fights yesterday against the culture over some R64s. That was fun. We dunked one of their Loki fleets. That was good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting time to be part of EVE Online. There's something for everybody to be having fun.
For sure.
But you know what other way you can have fun in the New Eden universe?
Dust?
No. They killed that.
The forums?
Yeah, the forums are better than Reddit. But no, you can actually be a Valkyrie pilot. You know, those fighters that you send out of your Thanatos and your whatever else, your Nyx and all your other carriers. There's actually people inside those things. They're not drones. Those are people. Those are Valkyrie pilots flying those things.
Do I have to pay them?
No, and that's the beauty of it.
Good. I don't want to pay them.
Yeah. So with us this evening we have a few
script.
So we have some Valkyrie pilots that can teach us a little bit about what Eve Valkyrie is and how it is a part of our universe. So first of all, guys, what is Eve Valkyrie?
Well, for me, it's a way to fly a spaceship, which is something I've always wanted to do since I was a little kid. And you put on the headset and you are in a fighter or a heavy or a logi, and get to go out there, participate in a pretty high-paced battle, and blow a lot of stuff up. So essentially, that's what it is for me. Just like a really great way to go out there, blow things up, meet some cool people, blow them up, meet some other cool people, blow them up too. So that's about it for me.
Yeah, so is it like it's like quick match, right? You go into the lobby and you have your ship that you've already set up because you've earned so many points or SP or whatever?
That will all be changing as of the 26th of September, however.
Yeah, they're changing the types of ships that you have. Right now, if you get into the game, you start out with the basic fighter ship, the Wraith, and then you earn your way through the three ladders. You know, like the support fighters and the Logi, or sorry, the support fighters and heavies.
They now give you the first heavy, the first support, and the first fighter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So now they give you the beginner ships, and you have to earn the rest through XP. But as of the 26th, people will get all the ships right away, and you'll be earning upgrades to those ships through XP. But the upgrades are more or less trade-offs between, like, say, firepower and rate of fire. It's not like going to make your ship significantly more powerful. It'll just allow you to tailor the ship to your playstyle.
Okay, yeah, and I saw something on that, the announcement that they were raising the cap for the skill points. So how does skill points work out with that? Is it similar to Dust or closer aligned with that?
No. As a matter of fact, that's one of the big complaints about Valkyrie for people coming in from the outside. I don't mind it so much because it really simplifies it down and makes it arcade-like, but there's no real fitting system or skill system. At the current time, it's kind of like a tech tree that you work your way through. However, come the 26th, all the skill points you incur, it's not going to be going into the tech tree. It's going to be going into your specific ship and will allow you to unlock more customizations, which again aren't any inherently better. It's like trade-offs that lead to a kind of a null gains, like increased rate of fire but lower damage, that sort of thing. So that kind of gives you an option to customize something to make it really your ship, but it does kind of skip on a lot of the extra bulk that came in like Dust 514 fitting drop ships, or even in Eve fitting rigs, things like that.
Yeah, and I think we'd be neglecting something if we didn't mention one of the biggest things about this update, which is that it's now going to be available to people who don't have a VR headset. So you'll be able to play it on your regular monitor, whether you have a PC or PS4.
Yeah, which would be great because I didn't want to have to pay $400 or $500 for Oculus Rift or anything.
Yeah, I think that's the goal, is to make it more available to a lot more players, so it fills up our matchmaking a bit more.
Yep, and this will not just be exclusive to one platform. So it'll be PlayStation 4. You can play it with or without the VR headset, and PC with or without the headset. So feel free to get that $39.99 game or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I think they dropped the price to $29.99 as well, US. So that's a pretty significant drop too.
Yep, it will. For the person in chat, it will be the 26th of September for both the PS4 and the PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing too is they're adding a couple more maps and another game mode. So right now we have 3 game modes. We've got Team Deathmatch, which is basically go out there and try to kill 30 enemy ships before they kill 30 of your team's ships. There's also Control, which means that you fight for control of 3 different control points by placing drones near those points. And you try to deplete the enemy's supply of clones by controlling all the points. And then the other mode that's available now is Carrier Assault, where it's kind of like you take control of 2 of the 3 points, and then you get to attack a carrier and hopefully blow it up. So yeah, those 3 modes are available now, but as of the 26th, they're adding another mode, which is kind of like a capture the flag type mode, where you look for a relic on the map that spawns, and then you have to deliver it to a warp gate, supposedly, I guess, to give it to the quartermaster.
It's space grift ball is what it is.
Space Skitball.
Cool.
I got a short trailer here if we want to watch it.
Sure.
All right.
Peggy 12.
Welcome to the Valkyrie. Welcome to a new generation of ships and pilots. Welcome to a battle for our very existence. Welcome to the war zone.
Well, shit. Valkyrie knows how to do freaking promo videos over Eve.
Right?
A bit better than Spark, yeah.
Is there a Spark video?
There might be.
I think I've seen
Yes,
one. Yeah.
there is.
Yeah, I'm sure they made one.
Yeah, but compared to that last to the Lifeblood trailer, which got a roaring flop from Reddit, that one was a lot more impressive. But yeah, I am super excited. I thought about getting a Valkyrie playable headset so I could use it, probably Oculus, because that's the one I used at Vegas. But you know, it was like just $800. It's like, what can I use $800 for?
Yeah, I think they had a big sale this summer. I'm not sure if it's still on, but it went down significantly in price, and we noticed a ton of people joined the game when that happened. So, previously it was mainly PS4 players, but when Oculus had their summer sale and dropped the headset price a couple $100, that brought a lot of new players in, and now I think it's probably at least switched to 50-50. Yeah.
Right. I think it went down to $400.
Yeah, $399. I'm getting Intel right now on that.
Yeah, you get the touch controllers with that as well. It's really sweet because we had to basically originally buy the headset and then buy the touch controllers, but you get the touch controllers included in that price.
Right. And little known fact, I'm going to make sure I fact check this just so I don't look like an idiot, but I'm fairly certain, a little PSA plug, you don't just need to go with Oculus, PSVR, or Vive. I think, and I don't know anybody that's ever done this, but Steam advertises that you can run OS VR with Valkyrie. So if you want to get like a little $200 developer headset, give that a try. Supposedly it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably worth a try if you already have a headset like that. I wouldn't buy a headset, like a cheap headset, if you're intending to use it specifically for Valkyrie. But yeah, it might work. I've heard of crazier things happening.
That sounds neat.
People have apparently also managed to get their PSVR headset working on a PC as well. So I don't know how that works, but that is something you can do.
Interesting. Well, I mean, isn't the one by PS or PlayStation that kind of similar to the HTC? Or made by the same people?
I don't think so. I think Sony made their own. HTC's, it looks a lot different anyway.
Okay. So with this update on the 26th of September, we're going to have that integration where we now don't have to have the VR headsets, which is great, which is awesome. You're going to have the remote drifter sights, which we talked about previously. Looks like you're going to get some cool rewards out of that. There's also going to be updates and improvements on the heads-up display and user interface. And I don't know, has this been a thing that you could do previously, but players on the PlayStation 4 can fight against players on PC?
Yep, it's always looking like that.
Yeah, we've always had cross-platform competition. We haven't been able to squad with other platforms, so even Oculus cannot squad with Steam players, but we can all be in the same battle. So we usually use a Discord. We've got a pretty lively Discord going for Valkyrie, and that's how we communicate with each other.
If you want to, we can get that link out to everybody.
Yeah, I will create a link for that and then post that.
Cool. All right, so we know that there's the multiplayer version, but there is a storyline to this.
Yeah, that's kind of loose. They do it episodically, which is neat. I'm not sure if they have a new episode coming out in the next major update, but it seems like with every couple of updates, they'll put out like a new, they call them recalls or like memories, where you can go back and relive some of the best fights of the Valkyrie. And gosh, let me think. There's got to be like 3 or 4 of them now. And they're pretty neat to play through, especially if you're a big fan of the Eve universe and kind of delves into that quite a bit. They don't take very long to complete, but as I said, it's continuously being updated. And then on top of that, even if you don't want to go into open combat, there's plenty of options for going up against bots in single player training missions, things like that.
You've also got the scout mode. What's amazing, I love the scout mode, where you just fly around. It's a great way of learning the maps and stuff like that. But literally every scout mode have like 4 different clips. Well, not clips, but audio that you can get, and each audio tells a story, and that's what's been leading up to the war zone. It's been really cool. You had I'm going to say it correctly. You had Gate Crash.
Gate crash, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I said it correctly. Great. That happened. Was it December? I think that happened, and they had the storyline there. That storyline led on to when you had the Solitude map that came out in April, and literally just recently on the Solitude map, they just put the Quartermaster. They put an extra sound clip of the Quartermaster that's linking into the war zone. So that storyline seems to keep going and going, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and if you're a lore nerd like me, I was talking about it on the forums quite a bit, and I like broached the topic of how these are really cool. You could do something like a puzzle with these, and the devs seem fairly receptive to that. So I'm really curious what direction they're going to go. I think it'll incorporate a lot more kind of user involvement, a lot like the Inquest at the FanFest keynote. That should be really interesting. So I'm excited for that.
Nice. Yeah. One of the things that I really love about EVE Online is the lore, and I've actually read all of the, the novelizations, The Burning Life. What was the other 2?
Templar 1, the
and
Empyrean
Age. Yeah. So I've read all 3 of those. Thought they were fantastic. I've actually read the Eve True Stories, which is kind of just whatever, it is what it is. But then
I love that so much,
yeah.
though. Are they making the audiobook for that?
Ooh, I don't know. But then they have the Eve Valkyrie comics, which I thought were pretty cool. I got all.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, there's about 4. They were really cool. You can get on hardback.
Yeah. So those are pretty neat, and actually had a really nice storyline. It talked about this chick named Rand Kavik. She's like the center, the focal point of the story. Is there lore about her within the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, you are assigned to either Fatal's team or Ron's team when you launch and you're into a battle, and so you hear them in your headset all the time. They're kind of either encouraging you or like kind of shitting on you if you're not doing so well. But yeah, so Ron's voice, she's voiced by Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica.
So what you're telling me is that if I fly this game, I'm going to have Starbuck talking to me in my ear,
definitely
encouraging me to do things.
Yeah.
More often than not, she's just bothering me like a disappointed mom.
Tells you all.
Yeah, depends
You're
how
a
you
bad
play.
pilot.
Yeah, definitely. So that's probably one of the main reasons I'm sticking around.
For Starbuck?
Oh yeah, wouldn't you?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I do like the lore. Is there anything that Ron, you're the lore guy, right? You can tell us something that maybe we don't know about the lore that we should know?
Yeah, so give me a moment here. So leading into Valkyrie, the big thing was kind of that Fatal came back. They pretty much found whatever backup file of him was floating around there in the net, and some zip file, and they were like, oh, we can use this to bring the old Fatal back, because for those of you that may not remember, at some point Fatal gets potted and he loses all of his memories. And I think the last time it was really relevant before this was 2008 or something like that.
And that
but they
was
bring him
during-
back.
That was during a player event too. He was killed. He was being used by a CCB actor, and he was killed by players.
Correct.
Yeah, which was a cool thing that Falcon talked about, because now he's helping write this lore for Valkyrie. And at the time, he was actually a player there that wanted to show up and support Fatal, but they like ended up getting stopped at a gate or something. And needless to say, he ended up dying. And now, years down the line, he's writing for this. But beyond that, one thing that they talk about, which I think will go into Warzone a lot, is that in these echoes, Fatal talks about how Rabbit brought him back to fight a war, which is weird because, yes, the Guristas kind of like butt heads a lot with the Kaldari state, but they never go to war with them. I mean, what would be the point? They're their major source of income, and there's no way that they can actually succeed in a full-scale war against them. Maybe against Capsuleers, I don't know. But what is coming out here is that we're starting to see Rabbit and the Guristas and even the Quartermaster are really getting involved with some really strange fringe tech, especially with the Drifters coming up in this new expansion. They're trying to get their hands on this Drifter tech and use it to build something. What that is, I don't know. Important thing worth noting, in the comics, it talks about how the Valkyries, they're made by pirates. So they're just slapped together with the technology they had on hand. They're not the most reliable clones. So I'm expecting this will tie into them trying to get their hands on the same sort of technology that made the Immortal Mercenaries with the sleeper implants and the alpha clones. And that's what's leading to this new generation of pilots, where we're going to see this boom of Valkyries in universe, because now the technology is going to get a lot more reliable. That's just me spitballing based on what I've seen, so don't hold me to it. But it does lead to a lot of scenarios that would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Meredud, you know what would be dope? Pirate faction fighters that you can purchase through loyalty points that are better than the fighters that you have now.
Yes. In fact, I'm actually a little salty about the fact that, although it is cool, we're getting drone fighters before we're getting like the Wraith in EVE Online. Because I would love to be able to launch a squadron of Wraiths from a Wyvern or a Chimera or something. That would be so cool.
Well, I have 2 points here. One, when alphas came out, there was a lore tie-in for how the alpha technology was distributed out to the Navy factions so that they could bring more Capsuleers into the world and kind of explain why there's a new burst in Capsuleer activity.
Yes, and important about that is the people that kind of researched that and developed it tied in with Project Discovery, but it was the Sisters of Eve that created that technology. And in the new update, the 2 maps that we're seeing are going to be a Sisters of Eve station that we're raiding and a Drifter Hive. So we'll see how that goes.
And the second point here is that there are kind of hints at faction or new types of fighters, as there is explanations that they're going to be like a webbing fighter, a target painting fighter, an additional kind of fighter mechanic. So perhaps faction fighters are coming. We know, the drone fighters are going to be coming through the drone shipyards, essentially. But
yeah, I am still holding out for faction fighters, because I don't know if anyone here purchased that second decade collector's edition with a little card. I'm still holding them to getting me that Templar Mark II fighter that is supposed to come free with it. That being said, if there are faction fighters, great. If not, then I will say that the Valkyrie team has done a great job of taking these characters, and they made a point of framing things in that these Valkyries are really developing their own culture. They're not really attached to the civilizations of New Eden, so they're becoming less and less like whatever empire they came from before they were the Valkyrie.
Right, and what I can tell from the new game, having tried it out a bit, is that the new system is really much more open to adding new ships. Previously, there was sort of like a linear progression through ships that you unlocked, and so adding new ships to that was very difficult. So now that they've really opened it up, they've made all ships available right from the beginning. I think it'll be a lot more possible for them to add more ships in the future, because the interface is better and also the progression is more flat. So I think, yeah, definitely there would be possibility to add specific types of ships that match up with factions or other aspects of lore.
They've kind of done that with the Kovac ship. You didn't have that previously in Eve Valkyrie, but now with Warzone coming out, you're going to basically have like the stealth ship.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit the nail on the head. I thought it was interesting. They talked about in the notes with the covert ship. They said it was going to be important wording, the first covert ship that they were releasing, which kind of hints that they are planning on releasing a lot more fighters that, or various other ship factions that just haven't been finished yet, or they want to test them and get a feel for kind of how the current system is working now.
Yeah, that's right. Like as you page through the ships that are available to you, you have like a couple pages of fighters, a couple pages of support ships, a couple pages of heavy, and then you've got a page with the covert class, and there's only one in it. And clearly they've got space to add others and also other classes as well, which might be really cool. So I know one thing that they've talked about is adding a spectator ship, for example, which would be something amazing to have.
I think that's something everyone would be like, yay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kev, do you want to talk about private matches?
Private matches, yeah. This is something that we've really wanted for a long time, but because the player base on VR is not big enough to support it, we just haven't gotten it. I think the worry was that if they brought out private matches too soon, then people would just splinter off into their private matches and the public servers would just be empty. So, now with the coming of the 2D expansion and hopefully a lot more players, the private matches are on the horizon. So we'll be able to run tournaments and we'll be able to run leagues and our own private events and, kind of restrict the rules to what we want them to be, that sort of thing, what kind of ships we want to see in the games. So we're really excited about that possibility. That's not going to be in the September 26th release, but CCP has started kind of poking the community for ideas for what we want to see in private matches. So we're really looking forward to that becoming a reality sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Valkyrie's trying to push towards a similar kind of gameplay style interface as like Overwatch. I'm playing a lot of Overwatch right now, and they just introduced a whole lot more of the private games that you can play now, but that's a year into their playtime.
Yeah, in fact, the direction that Valkyrie is moving, it's kind of very hard to not make the Overwatch comparison, which I feel bad about because there are more than a few times on the forums that I'm like, oh, we should do something this way, like for example what Overwatch is doing, and that's kind of led to like there's going to be a new kind of like a loot box system for unlocking skins for gold points, which it's not really essential to gameplay. And then on top of that, they're adding in ults to ships, which some of us are nervous about, some of us are excited about it. I think there is a way to do it right. I don't feel like it's necessarily a bad direction to move in, but it will require tweaking, which is something that they are aware of and they've kind of talked to the community about, which
I
is
think
good.
the community will help them. In the first couple of weeks, the community will help them with, this works, this doesn't work. So.
Yeah, they're being incredibly receptive to community feedback, which is good because there have been
there's really make or break. I think the ultimates are kind of a make or break feature. So if they're done badly, then everyone's going to leave. But I know that they know that, CCP knows that, and the community is going to be quite vocal about what they think is working and not working with regards to that. Like we can't just have a kind of one button you press and it kills everybody all the time. So from what I tried, it doesn't seem like the ultimates are like that. I got to play with it a bit, and the ultimates, they take a long time to charge up. You have to collect salvage to charge them. Your team shares the salvage. So basically, you don't get to use your ultimate very often in a match.
Is it not once or twice, maybe?
I estimated that because that's kind of how long it takes to collect enough salvage to activate your ultimate. But I would think that in a TDM, you wouldn't really get to use it more than twice. And all of the ults that I tried, you can easily miss them or miss with them, or counter them. So, they're not kind of like a one button for win type thing, but they do have the possibility of doing major damage if they're used correctly. So yeah, I think it's going to remain to be seen how the community of really talented players deals with it, and they won't know that until the game goes live and is in the hands of dozens of us at least.
Cool. So, Anska, you are what you consider a logistics pilot. What is logistics in Valkyrie? Because like we have Logi and Eve,
It
but
can be
obviously
many
it's
different
different.
things. It can be many different things. Obviously the ships are changing, so I don't know what the ships are going to be. But at this moment in time, you've got the example. You've got the Revenant that has mines. You've got the Banshee, what's more an aggressive Logi. It can heal, but it can also strip shields and phaser people. You've got the ship that I like to play. What's the Guardian? That's kind of the medic. Think of Mercy. And we were talking about Overwatch. It's the Mercy of Valkyrie. That's what I mostly do. But it's not just medic. It can be quite an aggressive as well. Like I says, the Revenant and its mines. I'm sure Super Kev here can tell you how much he likes mines.
Not very much. It's
So
all
does
good though. It's fun.
does Logi so besides healing, they've got maybe some ECM, E-War type of stuff going on?
Yep, you've got the Phantom that's got ECM mines. You've got the Revenant, like I said, that has normal mines. You have the likes of the Banshee and the Warden and a couple other ships. Obviously, we're talking about the Guardian that can strip shields. So that basically you've got your hull and you've got your shield, so it can strip shields off people. You've got the Banshee itself has a phaser. You have some of them have Gatling guns as well.
Yeah, and I think when the new update comes out, that's all going to change because they've really tried to focus what the support ships do. So either on healing or degrading or scrambling. Like there's going to be one that does scramble the HUD of nearby enemy ships, so you won't be able to use your radars effectively, for example, when that's activated.
There's also one that I think is going to help boost cap. Is that correct? That would be fantastic for the new mode.
Yeah, that's right. There's one that has a cap recharging beam. So in Valkyrie, speed is really important, but your speed's limited by how much capacitor you have left. So once you've depleted your cap, then you're kind of in slow mode. So there will be a support ship that can charge the cap of friendly fighters and, well, all ships.
And you'll also have the Banshee will still be there, and that will, unlike before where it could heal as well as strip shields, it'll just be able to strip shields, and you will also have one medic ship, I believe.
Yeah, I've seen mixed reports about that. I know it does say that the Banshee is only supposed to strip shields, but I think I've also heard that it can heal. I don't know how that's going to work, and that's something we're going to have to test when the game comes out.
A lot of people have strong opinions on the Banshee.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The Marmite of the game.
Yeah. I think it's mainly the auto aim aspect of it. A lot of the ships they're friendlier to new players because you don't have to necessarily point your ship at what you're shooting. You can kind of get in the ballpark and look at the other ship and hit it, which is quite a bit easier than lining up a fixed weapon ship. So the Banshee is one of those where you kind of have to sort of get close to looking at the ship you're firing at, and then you fire this phaser, which basically blinds the other pilot and damages them at the same time. So yeah, I think it can get pretty salty when there's a whole bunch of these things flying around.
Cool. So you kind of hit on it a little bit earlier about the Valkyrie community, how they're real helpful with talking to the devs and making sure the changes are going well. But so for those of you that are Eve players, how would you compare and contrast the Eve Online community to the Valkyrie community?
I can go ahead on. So very different. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that from the start we were a very small, very niche community. So we really built a culture from the ground up, because very few people that are top pilots in Valkyrie are also notable pilots in Eve. Besides, I think like Cheshire, General Stargazer, people like that. A lot of people on the event team also play Valkyrie. But besides that, by and large, most of us don't have Eve Online experience, which can be both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a great thing because the community isn't stale at all, or a lot of the trappings that I'm sure you know exist in the Eve community don't carry over into Valkyrie. At the same time, there's that expectation with the CCP game of certain things, certain community involvement, certain support that a lot of people don't have the context of. So a lot of times, especially with me, I'll be like, no, we should be expecting a certain level of community support here. And people that maybe don't know that deep connection that the community has with CCP games wouldn't expect that. So they almost would think it would be unreasonable to expect a lot of the same support, like with CSM, topics like that do come up when talking about, okay, well, how can we increase communication between devs and players?
Nice.
However, you're saying that the devs of Eve Valkyrie are very vocal with the community. You'll see a lot of them in game. You'll also see they're always answering questions in the forums. So as much as you were saying about the CSM, they are very vocal with the community, and they will speak back and forth with the community.
Yeah, in fact, to the point that there was some debate for a while about why don't we have something like CSM. And I've kind of come around to the way of thinking, at least at this point in time, especially since we don't have any of the politics of EVE Online. If a bad patch comes out and we need to wait 3 weeks for something to get fixed, it's a matter of ruining a game. It's not a matter of ruining 6 months of administrative labor. And then on top of it, the devs have been incredibly supportive. So I've come around to the opinion that the current system is kind of like a blend between not having that level of CSM, but them still having a healthy respect for the community, which is fantastic, in my opinion.
Cool. So now you kind of mentioned a little bit about how we have the CSM. Now, Dust had their Council of Planetary Management. Do you guys have something similar to that, or not yet?
No, because like I said, at least as of right now, the community is not large enough. It's not divided enough that we would need a council to kind of have verbal input. That said, there are community members that they do listen to. I mean, they pulled Super Kev out for Gamescom just to give his opinions. And on top of that, there are play testers that they openly invite to go out to Newcastle. Actually, Kev, do you want to talk about how that process went, them inviting you? Because I don't think that's anything you've mentioned.
Yeah, well, I couldn't talk about it because I was under NDA, but yeah, they did invite me to go to sort of the event where they were inviting people to try the game and sort of give the player and community perspective on what it's like to play Valkyrie, what it's like to be part of the community, and yeah, also to kind of give people a hand in learning how to fly the ships too. So that was really a lot of fun, and I did feel that CCP totally values the Valkyrie community. Like they made it abundantly clear that CCP Newcastle is listening to what is being said on the forums, checking in on the Discord, kind of keeping tabs on what we want. So it doesn't mean that everything that we demand gets into the game, but they know what we want, and they factor that into their decision-making process in making the game. And also, if we're not happy with something, so for instance, when this thing launches on the 26th, and if there's some massive imbalance, they're not just going to ignore our input on that.
You were saying about that, you just had to look what happened to Gatecrash. They literally came in, they took people from their holidays to fix part of one of the ships. That's how much they listened to the community.
Yeah. I mean, they launched this Gatecrash update at the worst possible time, like just before Christmas holidays. And then they said, like, here it is, now we're going on holiday. And there was like one ship that was massively overpowered. And it just became such a pain that it was really destroying the playing community. Like nobody really played it anymore after that. So they called their devs back from holidays and and they fixed it within days. So we had a hot fix before Christmas, and everybody got to enjoy the game again. So I do know that they pay attention to us, even though we don't have any kind of committee set up to speak to them. And like Rod said, it's because the community is small enough that it's manageable this way. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, there will be a lot more players playing the game, and maybe there will be a need for some kind of community representation that's more official. But as of now, they seem to be handling it okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the number would be that you'd need or have a necessity for something like that. But I know I'm gonna get Valkyrie once it becomes available for me to play. I'm sure Meridad's gonna do the same.
Yeah, for sure. Dope asks from chat here, do you think Valkyrie is going to have a buddy system when it rolls out to the PC 2D version?
A lot of us community members, we're going to be, some of us have took a couple of days out, some of us, me myself, I've literally took a week out, and I will say it now, if anyone, you were saying about a buddy system, if anyone wanted to squad up, just come onto the Discord, the community itself will squad up with you, they will help you, they will talk you through things. We're going to be in the same boat, because obviously a lot of them are going to be new ships, so we're going to be just as clueless as you, but the community will be there to hang out with you guys, and, you maybe want to do this. This is the best way to. You'll have like Super Kev. Super Kev. Maybe we can tell you, if you do this in your control. So the Discord is definitely something worth going on to, and the official forums as well. And we'll help everyone out.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing that's really kept me in this game for so long. I know I said earlier it was because of Starbuck, but really it's because the community is so supportive in this game of new players. And like Rot said before, it's because we knew that there were only a limited number of players available to us. So, basically, if we lost a player, that meant that that's one step closer to the grave for Valkyrie. So we made sure that everybody felt welcome. If somebody was feeling beat up on, then we would squad with them or fly support and keep them alive so that they could learn the ropes, get them in voice chat, talk to them on the forums, even like reach out to players who we saw were struggling. So we would give them a shout out on the forums, try to bring them into the Discord so we could talk to them. So yeah, of course, if anybody is having any trouble, we really welcome them to the forums and to the Discord to, offer them some help, because even if you're getting killed all the time, it's a lot more fun when you got someone to talk to.
Cool. I do want to segue into that in a minute, but I think what Diopa was specifically looking for was if you have like a buddy invite code where like if you invite somebody, it gives points to you or something.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
No,
I haven't seen that. So anyways, want to segue into that where if you like to help people, this and that. Is there anything like corporations, or is it all just, everybody knows who everybody is?
Everyone just knows who everyone is. You've got like on the PSVR, you do have a couple of squads that would be a bit like that. You've got Paw Patrol and you've got Nighthawks that you can go Google up. You've also for the PSVR, you've got the likes of the Find Squad. There's actually a PSN community where you literally, as a new player, you join it, and it is just called Find Squads, and it will be as soon as you go in there, people will join up and play with you.
Okay, so is that like built into the game, or is that kind of like an outside deal?
It's like an outside deal. I know for PlayStation 4, there's a lot of built-in systems into the PlayStation and the UI that allows you to create kind of like a clan type system outside the game. The thing about corporations and why I don't entirely see them as necessary to Valkyrie is that in Dust 514 and in EVE, kind of corporations are effectively made to advance the interests of the players in the game. I don't think you really need that in Valkyrie. At best, you would get like a team together, which there are a lot of outside the game groups that do squad up. Event, like I mentioned before, Eventi, they do teams. A lot of people on PlayStation, Nighthawks, like Anska said, they do teams. I suspect with private matches and matchmaking getting hammered out a bit more, that it will be a lot easier to make those teams and squad up without the need of a clan or a corporation-based system.
Cool.
I also think like on the PC, I think Kid Dragon may have a squad. I don't know. Yeah, he had maybe said something in the forum. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Kid Dragon is one of the legendary, mysterious players of Valkyrie. Goes around challenging everybody to duels, and winning almost all of them. So
Put
yeah,
him in the card set.
he's pretty amazing.
Nice.
He's got a squad, the Eve Dragons, I believe.
Interesting. Well, I, for one, cannot wait for this to come out, or for this update to come out.
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of Overwatch. I really enjoy that short burst, quick gameplay when I can't log on and start getting my ships out and start getting into a 2-hour fleet. I enjoy having a game that I can just jump in, play 30 minutes of, and jump out of.
Well, that's what we say too. We say, oh, just jump in for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then 2 hours later,
Just one more game.
just one more game.
Yeah,
And you
I know
pull
how
the
it is.
headset off, and you got the little Oculus marker around your face for the next 2 hours.
It's half
That's
2 in the
right.
morning. You're like, oh no.
For me, it's like right before I have to go to work.
Yeah, I've had that before. Gone into meetings with the O face.
Oh, face. I like it. I like it. Well, I mean, that's really all the questions I really wanted to know. Merida, do you have any more questions?
I wanted to know about the streaming community for Valkyrie. Is it challenging to stream as a VR game?
No, it's really quite fun. The 2D is going to be amazing for streaming because obviously with it being VR just now, when you're moving your head, the headset's kind of moving about. So with it being 2D, that's really going to help with it. But it's pretty easy. You've obviously got the likes of OBS. A lot of us use Oculus Mirror if we're using the Rift. And it's actually got quite a lot. You've got the likes of Salsa Ketchup does a lot of formation flying. That's really interesting. But there's actually a growing and healthy streaming community that's up and coming.
Yeah, and if you want to get into it, there's plenty of guides. There's plenty of teams, in fact, that's always looking for new people to kind of sign up and take up a time shift. So definitely look into that if that's something that interests you.
There's even events that they do. You've got like we did a while back. You had Rot was doing. He was on Eve and T. You also had that we're doing down the rabbit hole. You also now at this moment in time, like it says, on a Saturday they do 1-5, the legendary 1-5. He does a scrap club, and that's often streamed. It's also had videos made of it and GIFs made as well.
And the other
Yeah,
thing.
and
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, Ansco, didn't you also do some multi-Twitch things?
Oh yeah, that's it. As a community, we always love to, like I say, we're not in it all for one person. We do it as a squad, as a group. We do loads of multi-Twitch. You also had Super Kev, you were back for when they did EU versus US. You had the PSVR versus the PC players, and that's something that we should be able to do again with custom matches if they come out. We also had the devs versus the players. That was good fun.
Yeah, the dev battle.
Yeah, and I do have to say, even if you're not looking into getting into streaming, I love just watching the multi-streams, especially in people that are using it in VR, because unlike, screens, 2D gaming, you're actually seeing what that person at that time is seeing, and you can jump between all these different perspectives going on in a fight at once, and I love tracking it.
Now, there's no spectator mode. You were mentioning a spectator ship, but there's no spectator mode at the current time?
No, not at the current time. It's something we really want, and I'm hoping it comes with the custom servers update that they're talking about for some time in the future.
Yeah, because games like Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch, they all have spectator modes where you could either walk around the map as a like in this case it would be a pilot, or you could follow from people's point of views, which I think would yield well to that community, right?
Yeah, it's really high. It's the highest thing on my wish list is to have that kind of functionality, just to be able to step into a match and watch it instead of participating, or be able to record it in a nice video that you could commentate or stream or whatever.
Or even like it says, we were talking about the Salsa earlier on. He literally has to set his camera one way, then doesn't he have to walk another way so he can get out of ship, so you can't actually see the ship itself. So he actually has to do a lot of work to get the stream that he wants it.
Yeah, he flies the ship from the wing of the ship, so he's sitting outside of the cockpit and flying the ship so that he doesn't have the cockpit obscuring his view of what's going on. So kind of coordinates pilots to do formation flying and all kinds of different maneuvers, and then he films it from outside of his ship. So that's really like going the extra mile to get spectatorship functionality.
That's cool. Dope asks in chat here, if you're a VR player, do you need, and you wear glasses, do you need special contacts to do VR stuff?
No, not as far as I know. I know there are people who wear glasses, and they seem to do okay with it. I know if it gets hot, you can they can get fogged up, but
We also had what General had, where you can
yeah.
actually buy independent lenses to put into your VR headset.
Yeah, so if you're hardcore, you can order prescription lenses that kind of snap into the Oculus Rift, and I'm sure they have them for
That's pretty
Vive
intense.
as well. Yeah, but I don't think it's too expensive. So it's probably worth looking into if you're going to do a lot of VR, and then you don't have to worry about the discomfort of glasses. But I think the headsets are designed so that they work with glasses.
Now, you spoke really highly of the Valkyrie community and the Discord that you guys organize yourselves on to get better groups. Is there out-of-game meets starting up for Valkyrie communities? Or?
Oh yeah, there's been a few. We had the one that we've had a couple of Newcastle meetups, and that's been great because we've actually had the devs come along to it. We had I think it was Valhalla at Vegas and at FanFest as well. You've actually got the Eve London meet that's happening soon in November. You've actually got a bunch of Eve Valkyrie pilots will be coming along to that as well. I think some of us will be taking a laptop, so if people wanted to try Valkyrie, they can.
Yeah, I definitely met a lot of Valkyrie pilots last year at Vegas, and I was hoping I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to it. I think the wife has approved Vegas for me.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
So if I'm there, I'll definitely be bumping into all you Valkyrie pilots.
Okay, so did I have anything else? I don't think I did. You want to start wrapping it up, Mayor Dodd? Unless you guys got something else you want to cover up real quick.
Nothing from me.
Any questions that people watching want to ask?
I think they would have chimed in already if they haven't already.
Oh, I do want to say something here. It does say on the screen there, it says #1 Eve Valkyrie pilot under my name. I might have the position on the leaderboard, but there are tons and tons of really amazing Valkyrie pilots out there. So I wouldn't describe myself as #1 Valkyrie pilot. I think that there's so many pilots who are just as good as I am at actually flying a spaceship. So, just come and join our community, meet all of us. Everyone's really approachable. And even the top guys and girls out there are just great to play with.
Oh, I didn't assign the title. I just heard the rumor.
Okay, just the rumor, unconfirmed for sure.
All right. Yeah, let's wrap it up with some other upcoming Eve meetups. If you want to meet up with some nerds, talk about spaceships, whether it's Valkyrie or Eve Online, the Eve Dublin meetup is in October 20th and 21st. In Ireland, there is a Perth meetup on September 16th. There's a Eve meet in Poland 2 days from September 22nd to 24th. I don't know which city in Poland, probably one of them. All of these are on evemeet.net. And then there's a Brisbane and Adelaide, Australia meetup on September 23rd. And I think the Vancouver meetup will be back to the third Tuesday of the month, whatever day that is, back in New West. Sorry, not at Burnaby again. It was too loud there.
If you happen to be around the Poland area, I suggest checking Poland out in general because that is a beautiful country and you got lots of cool pottery.
Pottery, you say?
Pottery, indeed. Sweet. And then on the 5th of September, which is tomorrow by my math, there will be a math test on Sissy. No time was given, but I'm assuming it's usually around 12 or earlier in the afternoon for my time. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same time. I'm sure there'll be a tweet about it tomorrow morning. So look forward to that. It's going to be for the, I would guess, the refineries and moon mining.
And then, as announced on Talking Stations last week, Andrew Groen is coming out with a audiobook for The Empires of New Eden. If you can't read, don't want to read, or just want to listen to it on the way to work, that will be available soon. And he's also going to be developing a podcast in the style of Hardcore History, Dan Carlin's podcast, exploring the history of New Eden episodically through the audio format. So look forward to that.
I would definitely listen to the shit out of that.
I know, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of podcasts, for those, I guess none of you might have not have listened to our show before, but we like to ask our guests what podcast or audiobook or something they've been listening to that they might want to suggest to our podcast followers. It can be Eve related, not Eve related.
Anska?
No, I've spent too much time in Valkyrie to listen to anything recently. Just thinking. I mostly watch Twitch streams.
What's your favorite streamer here? You can hype him up.
Oh, there's so many. So many.
They can only choose one.
Oh, no.
Like children, you can only have one favorite.
There you go, Super. I'm leaving it to Super Kev. Super Kev, what's your favorite?
My favorite streamer, of course, is Anska, because she does a great job of really including everybody in the discussion, and she's really good at explaining what's going on in the game. So I think if anybody wants to watch Valkyrie stream, she's a good place to start, and she also will give shout outs to everyone else who's streaming as well. So she's kind of like the hub of the Valkyrie streamers.
Yeah, Anska definitely is one of the best Eve Valkyrie streamers out there. So give her a watch. General Stargazer is never on over at event again. Juan 5 streams occasionally. I know Quantum Delta streams, and he doesn't just stream Valkyrie. I know he streams Mass Effect. I think he's been going through
doing Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Other than that, I just put on a lot of background noise when I'm playing Valkyrie sometimes. Podcast, yeah, like Schmucks by Psychic Pebbles. That's a big one. H3 podcast, stuff like that.
Sweet. Kale, what have you been listening to this week?
Oh man. Kale, sorry. I said Kev.
My bad. I have already listened to the entire Ready Player One audiobook, which was narrated by Will Wheaton, and I've decided that I need to read that, considering the movie is coming out pretty soon. But it was a good audiobook, and I think I would like to read it as well.
Yeah, if I can just super briefly touch base on that. I actually went to a book signing by Ernest Cline. Fantastic guy. Had him sign my Oculus. He seems really hyped for the movie. So if you haven't read the book, I implore you, do so. If you're watching this podcast, you're going to love it.
Yeah, it's definitely fits within our mindset for sure.
Yeah, you were saying about streamers YouTube. I would say Neo Krister. I probably said that wrong. And on Twitch, it's obviously in Salsa Ketchup and Miss Moses.
Sweet.
And Raw. I was watching Raw. Raw streams at Eve Valkyrie as well. Well, when his PC gets fixed.
Yeah, I'm out of the game right now, but I'll be back.
Clean yourself up. Get back on the road there.
Back on that horse. I'm going to be terrible when I start up again. Absolutely atrocious. I'm going to need a training montage.
On the 26th, I think they've got a whole new training mode going in, so you'll be ready for it.
I think is it called Flight School or something like that? I'm actually, it's really bad how excited I am to do that. I'm super excited. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Beautiful. Well, I have had no time to listen to anything but the sounds of packing tape and moving boxes as I'm moving next week. may interrupt my availability for the show next week, but Kale will be here, holding the reins, steering this horse down the Twitch aisle.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
Hopefully.
I don't think I'm in the field next week. Maybe we'll see.
We'll make it work.
Well, even if we have to replay episode number 1 just to satiate your appetites, we will do it.
God, please don't. It's so bad. I think I said we'd show parts of it at like maybe episode 100. We'll show parts of episode 1. It does have our origin stories, which is
Do a
amusing.
mashup.
I'm going to one of my current goals is to learn audio or video and audio mashing, like through Adobe Suite or After Effects. I want to learn that kind of software and be able to put together short videos. Because mostly music videos, because I've always kind of wanted to do music videos.
You should definitely make us some music videos with like 80s music.
Nope, just EDM, modern EDM.
Ugh.
I know. That's what you get when I edit the show. You get EDM. You tell the ones Kale edits.
It's a true story.
Thank you all for coming and listening to the My Clash podcast. We are here every Monday. This is a special Eastern European support time zone because it's a holiday Monday. But we are typically here at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern every Monday to talk about EVE and EVE Online. Thank you all for coming. Listen to us on the YouTube video on demand, Twitch video on demand, if you want to see my face make funny laughing noises. If you'd like to listen to us in your car, podcasts, evepodcast.com. Crossing Zebras, we are on there, and myclash.live is our website where we have the original, the one, the only podcast. Thank you all for coming.
Happy Workers Union Day for all of our Caldari citizens. Just want to throw that one out there.
And thank you for our guests for coming by and stopping us and telling us about Eve Valkyrie. I'm looking forward to playing it when it comes to the poor 2D plebs that we are.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks
And,
for having me. You'll do great. Join us on the Discord and the forums.
Happy Union Day.
Happy Union Day.
I'm going to show that trailer one more time.
Happy Union.
Peggy 12.
Welcome to the Valkyrie. Welcome to a new generation of ships and pilots. Welcome to a battle for our very existence. Welcome to the war zone.